Walking with Bartram. Wilson Gap to Warwoman Dell. This month, we continue with part 2 of Bartram Week, the Blue Ridge Bartram Trail Conservancy's celebration of William Bartram's travels through the mountains in 1775.
William and John had never come into the mountains. You have to go back into the French Indian War history and Proclamation Boundary of 1763 that prohibited settlers in the east from traveling over the Appalachians. The idea was to keep the colonies east of the Appalachians so that we could build a type of industrial society, keep those products coming back to England, keep the settlers east of the Proclamation Boundary so that they're not moving west to, basically leave the colonies.
This tree with all the knots.
Oh, yeah.
In 1775, William is traveling into some pretty interesting country up here in the Appalachians that very few people had traveled to before. Bartram travels into these mountains. He crosses the Chattooga River. That Chattooga Old Town, as you see on the map there, travels up through Warwoman Dell. He makes it to what is now modern-day Clayton, and what does he see? An abandoned Native American village.
It was the ruins of Stokoe Old Town. That was a Cherokee town that was destroyed by Creek Indians in the 1750s or so.
On these towering hills appeared the ruins of the ancient famous town of Stokoe. Here was a vast Indian mount, or tumulus, and great terrace, on which stood the council house, with banks encompassing their circus.
That was known as the dividing paths right there where Clayton is today. That was a major intersection of Native American trade paths. So Bartram comes into Clayton, where modern-day Clayton is, and he goes north.
And he went over Raven Gap. That's the gateway into the middle towns of the Cherokees. He came across these big stone mounds on the side of the trading road, which was the site of a 1760 battle with the British Army.
And of course, the French and Indian War campaigns, 2 of those fought right here in these mountains. It's Collinsonia. Peter Collinson introduced the artwork of William Bartram to John Fothergill. In 1773, Collinson was able to secure a patronage from John Fothergill for William to travel to southern colony.
So Bartram is following along this path, and he finds a trading post. This trader was married to a Cherokee woman and embraced him, and he spent the night there, and he was well fed. He describes all of the food he ate and how there was a Cherokee village, probably was along Coweta Creek, the site of an old Cherokee town, and there was a mound close by on the Little Tennessee River.
Anyone know Hen of the Woods?
Then he moves on to Ochoa, details it. He goes to Nikwasi, 3 miles on to Watauga, 3 miles on to Cowie.
His destination was to get to the upper settlements of the Cherokees, and this was his route to get to those settlements. So he gets to Coweta Town, his guide never shows up, he takes off for the upper settlements alone. Pyrularia pubescens, it's flammable.
St. John's wort.
If you haven't read Bartram's Travels, you can see when he gets to the top of the Nantahala Mountains in Travels, he says, "I beheld with rapture and astonishment a sublimely awful scene of power and magnificence, the mountains piled upon mountains." And you can still stand on top of Waiaball today and look west, and it's a pretty unbelievable rolling green landscape of big mountains. Bartram leaves the Nantahalas and heads towards the upper settlements. Serendipitously, an important moment in American history, he runs into the chief of the Cherokees down in the Nantahala Gorge, Ottakullakulla. Ottakullakulla could have missed him, by a day or so. They meet on the trail. Ottakullakulla tells him that don't go to the upper settlements. And this is the eve of the American Revolutions. There have been skirmishes on the upper settlements going on for months, with white settlers being killed by Cherokees and white settlers killing Cherokees.
Dragon Canoe has already vowed that the whites have taken all their Kentucky lands through the Henderson Purchase, and that the settlement's going to be dark and bloody. So Ottakullakulla is very friendly towards Bartram, says you better get out of this country.
The likelihood of Bartram getting killed on that journey was pretty high. And if he had continued on to the upper settlements, we might not ever have had this account of his travels throughout the Southeast.
Bartram was one of the most friendly people ever to the Indians that he met, and they respected him. And they immediately saw that he had a good heart, and he had a good vibe with them. Bartram went back to Charleston after that. He traveled out to the Mississippi River Basin from there.
He arrived back in Philadelphia in 1777, and it took him 14 years to write this book and have this book published. It came out in 1791, was criticized in America because of the sympathetic treatment of Native Americans, published in 6 languages in Europe within a decade. Coleridge, Wordsworth, all the early Romantic poets borrowed heavily from Bartram's travels.
Join us next time for the 5th section of our hike, Hale Ridge Road to Wilson Gap, during which we will ascend Raven Bald, the 2nd highest peak in Georgia. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook. If you enjoyed this, click the thumbs up and follow us to see the next episode.